we are going to be making for this video some bunting, BE Day, Maths of course, bunting. So I'm going to be talking about Roman numerals, prime factorisation and tricks to squaring squared numbers. And then you will be making your own Maths bunting as I've got at the back here.
Today's maths video is going to be slightly different. We're just going to focus on the number 75. So I'm going to show you different maths topics to do with the number 75, and that's the focus today. Okay, let's start with Roman numerals. I will later do a proper video on Roman numerals, so this will be just a basic guide to Roman numerals, but these are basically the ones you need to know. So I equals 1, V equals 5, X equals 10, L equals 50, C is for 100. I like to remember that as century is 100 years, so C is equal to 100. D 500 and M 1000, again M for millennium, so 1000 years. Okay, now that you've got all of these in front of you, I'm going to be showing you how we write numbers in Roman numerals. So for example, the number 30. So looking at all of the numbers and letters that you've got, how can we make the number 30? So that would be 10, add 10 makes 30. So we need 3 X's. Okay, what about the number 15? So find two numbers that add to 15. That would be X and V. 10 plus 5 is equal to 15. Okay, let's have a look at another example about the number 60. So you only need 2 letters for this one, 60. So of course 50 add 10, or LX is equal to 60. And 102 doesn't have to be 2 letters, this one will be 3 letters. So first of all, you've got 100, so C100, century, and then I. So I is 1, so 2 I's would be 2. Okay, now that we've had a practice, so because we're looking at the number 75, see if you can have a go at writing the number 75 in Roman numerals. Okay, so the letters that you would need for 75 would be L, which is 50, and then 10 and 2 10s and a 5. So that's 60 so far. 60 add another 10 would be 70, and then V for 5. So this is one way that you could decorate your bunting at the end, where you could write 75 in Roman numerals instead of just a 7 and a 5. If we wrote the number 75 as a percentage, that would be 75 over 100, or we could say 3/4. Okay, now we're going to have a look at prime factorisation. So all you need to know for this is what a prime number is. So let's say I have a number 95. It's not a prime number. But I'm looking for 2 factors for 95. So I've got 5 times another number gives me 95. So if I do 95 divided by 5, if I'm not sure, I could do 9 divided by 5 is 1. And then we've got 45 divided by 5 would be 9. So 19 times 5 is 95. So 5 and 19 are both factors of 95, and they are both prime numbers. So prime factorisation is where you find prime numbers which are factors of the number itself. Okay, if we have a look at another example, and then I'll get you to do the same for 75. So for the number 42, so I'm looking for 2 numbers, any 2 numbers which multiply to give you 42. So 2 factors of 42 could be 2, because 42 is an even number, so it could be 2 times 21. The factor 2 is a prime number, and that's why I've circled it, but 21 isn't a prime number. Can you think of 2 numbers that would multiply to give you 21? 7 times 3, of course. Now 7 and 3 are both prime numbers, and that's why I've circled them. So 42, we would say the prime factors of 42 would be 2 and 7 and 3. 2 times 7 times 3 multiply and to give you the answer of 42. So 42 is equal to 2 times 7 times 3. Okay, shortly I'm going to ask you to do the same for the number 75, but let's just do one more example before I ask you to give me the prime factors for 75. Okay, let's have a look at 36. So again, like I said, you can start this off in different ways. So think of 2 numbers that multiply to give you 36, or any 2 factors of 36. So what we could have is 2 times 18. So if we half 36, that gives us 18. So 2 is a prime number, and that's why I've circled it. 18 is not. So let's think of another 2 numbers that give us 18. And we carry on until we have prime numbers, so 6 and 3. So 3 is a prime number, but 6 is not. So I'm going to keep carrying on. 2 times 3. Great, I can stop there. I can circle the 2 and I can circle the 3. Now the numbers I've got circled, if I multiply them together, that gives me 36. And the reason I've circled them, remember, is because they are all prime numbers. So I've got 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 is equal to 36. Or I could write this in a different way. I could write, as I've got 2 times 2 and 3 times 3, I could write 2 squared times 3 squared. So I could write 2 times 2 times 3 times 3, or just 2 squared times 3 squared. Okay, now hopefully you are ready to find the prime factorisation of the number 75. I want you to have a go. So remember, you stop and you circle all of the prime factors. Okay, so you could start this off in different ways. You could, obviously 75 is a 5 is a factor of 75, but instead I'm just going to do 3 times 25. I know 3 lots of 25s give us 75. 3 is a factor, is a prime number, of course. 25 is not, so I'm going to carry on, and I've got 5 times 5, which is 25, and they are both prime numbers, so I can now stop. So 75 is equal to 3 multiplied by 5 squared, because I've got 2 5s. 3 times 5 times 5, or 3 times 5 squared. Okay, I'm now going to show you a quick way of how to multiply or square a number, 2-digit number. So for example, 75 squared, or 75 multiplied by 75. So rather than actually doing the traditional long multiplication method, I'm going to show you a different way. So first of all, you just want to do 5 squared, or 5 times 5, which is of course equal to 25. And then you want to add 1 to the 7, and that gives us 8. So then you want to do 7 times 8, which is 56. And you place that in front of the 25, and you've got your answer. So 75 squared, or 75 times 75, is equal to 5,625. Okay, let's have a look at another one now. So 35 squared, or 35 times 35, you do it exactly the same way. So first of all, 5 squared, 5 times 5 is equal to 25. And then remember, you add 1 to the 3, that gives you 4. And then 3 times 4 is of course 12. You place that in front of the 25, 1,225. Okay, you just need a pencil, a ruler and a paper or a sheet of card. And the first thing, I'm just measuring 3 centimetres across. And then I'm just going to join these two together. And then once I've joined it together, I'm just going to fold it over, because that's where I'll be putting my string. Okay, the next thing, you want to fold the sheet of paper in half. So exactly in half, or the card. And with a ruler and a pencil, you're just going to be drawing a line like I have here. And then you're going to be cutting it across. Just need to do one line on one side, so when you open it, you have your bunting ready. So the other 2 bits of paper you can put away, and now you're ready to start decorating and designing. So of course, make as many as you want first. Okay, I'll go through how I decorated it. So I just measured from the top exactly the same. So you could choose 3 centimetres, 4 centimetres, and I'm going to draw a line until it matches to the centre. Okay, now just choose a red or a blue pen and just go over these lines. And then I'm going to choose for my first decoration just to do 75 in Roman numerals. And then my second one, I'm actually going to be doing 3 times 5 squared, so the prime factors of 75. And of course, choose to colour this however you want. So I've done lots of different versions here. And now to finish off your bunting, you're going to need some sellotape and some string.